Ladies and gentlemen, according to the YouTube statistics, about 71% of my viewing audience, that's you, is between the age of 18 and 35. And I'm right around the middle. I'm 26 years old, nearly 27 in a couple of weeks here at the end of 2022. And what I've noticed is that I'm balding. I'm losing my hair. Now you might say, Levy, I know, we've all noticed that. That's why we always make fun of you and your haircuts. And I would say, well, that's really unfortunate and kind of hurts my feelings. But I think my balding has been sped up by analyzing some low-level chess games. 400, 500, 600, you get the drill. You might be playing those games and they might be stressing you out, but I am watching them, and let me tell you, they are stressing me out even more. It's like a concerned parent watching their child go through certain obstacles in life. And in today's video, I would like to share a game with you that was sent in to me by a viewer, by a subscriber. Thank you for the submission. This game will probably speed up your balding process as well, so we can all lose our hair together. As always, these videos are intended to, of course, have a laugh, not at the expense of anybody, but laughing together at the pain, but also beautiful game that is chess. And we will learn as well. Now, our protagonists are Stu and Lynxy. I have scrambled the names so you can't find who these people actually are. Their ratings are 524 and 484 at the time of this game. So right around that high 400, just a little bit into 500 territory. Now, one of them is already 700 points higher rated. This was from early 2022. And they get honorary Grandmaster titles because why not? So the game begins with e4. Oh, I apologize. We don't have highlight moves on. I should turn that on. Highlight moves. There we go. e4 on the board. Black plays c6. All right, so you don't know who's who. You don't know where... Wait a minute, I just realized even both of these things are gone too. Sorry, my streaming software went through an update yesterday, and okay, there we go. We got the logos on the screen and everything. All right, now we're ready to go. So, bishop c4. So bishop c4 is known as the hillbilly attack. It's actually a very interesting way to play against the Caro-Kann. And what white does is play bishop to b3, gives up the e4 pawn, and has this. And so white will then play queen h5. It could be a little bit scary here, you know, for black to deal with this. Black might play passively, block the bishop, and slowly white will just win the pawn back and have a good position. Yeah, that's not what happens here. White takes and now is just worse. Why is white clearly worse? Well, you helped black. You no longer have any tricks. And yeah, I mean, it's 0.7 to black because black is essentially playing white now, because black will just put two pawns in the center and play knight f6. So black plays the move e6, voluntarily blocking the light squared bishop. Not a good move, not a bad move, but not a good move. And now the position is back to equal. I love this move by white, d4, taking the center. Now black develops the bishop, great, but of course at the expense of the other bishop. And this is why as a beginner, your protocol should be, if you haven't moved your knights yet, you should move them first, because you know where they're gonna go. In fact, you're about to see in this game how both of those knights go to those squares. So there was no need to block your light squared bishop, just no need at all. Right, so look at this, knight f3, knight f6, bishop e3. Also, again, no need. You should castle because that's not a flexible move. You know what I mean? Like, you should castle because it's not, there's no flexibility. You don't know if you're going to go here yet. Maybe you're going to go here and then put the knight behind the pawn. You don't know if this bishop might want to go there instead. Why is it going here? It's so passive. And you see black played both knight moves. So black had no reason to block in this bishop. It's not bad, but it's something you got to improve on. So c3 and castles. Okay, and black actually thus far has played a fantastic game for somebody rated 480. Seriously, or some of you might be rated around that rating and go, my games never looked this normal. Some of you watching this might be like 1500 and go, dude, when I was 480, I was eating the pieces. I wasn't putting the pieces on the right squares. I was literally putting them in my mouth, all right? Or other places. Now here, white does something I don't quite understand, right? Like white thus far has played very well, just got to finish development, castle, maybe castle queenside. White plays h4. Okay, this is, I mean, there is always kind of this drop-off point in low-level games when nothing starts to make sense anymore. I mean, it's like everything they watched on YouTube or got out of the course that they bought just goes totally out the window. So the move h4, I mean, it makes sense in a nutshell. The idea essentially, I suppose, is to attack the king, right? Because they castled. It's not like the worst move in the world, and actually black here plays the top engine move, knight g4. Immediately taking advantage of this freed up square. See, if white had played the move h3, I would have done, controlled this square, but it's still not a great move because it's completely unnecessary. The best move here, hands down, is of course to castle. So h4, knight g4, and now black is threatening to take the bishop. Why do I call that a threat? Well, if black takes the bishop, then there is going to be this check. And actually, white will just straight up lose the right to castle, which is devastating. That's devastating. It means that, your king will likely have to hang out in the center, which is just a recipe for disaster because black will try to blow up the center. Knight g4, but now white plays bishop g5. So you can't really hate on this move, right? This kind of makes sense now. The queen can move. You can block the attack, or you can block the attack and attack the bishop. And black plays the move f6. So far, so good. And now things start to get weird. White here plays a move which is completely brilliant for a 500. It's a horrible move, but it's completely brilliant for a 500. This is, again, you got to adjust your levels as a chess coach. So why do I say brilliant? Well, because you see this, so you just go here, right? Like it's not, you don't have to think. But white here plays the move knight f to d2, which looks, it's a horrible move. Make no mistake. It is an awful move. Why is it an awful move? Because you undevelop a piece. Now you say, oh, you hang a bishop. No, because this counterattacks this. That's what I'm saying. It's actually brilliant for a 500 to see this, but it's horrible because black can just sacrifice the knight. It's called a desperado. You're going to lose the piece anyway, so you lose it on your own terms, and now, right, because otherwise there was a fork, now this, and you're checked, and you're going to lose two more, probably one or two more pawns, and game is just going to end very, very badly. But that, of course, doesn't happen. Knight fd2, we have fg, queen g4, which is what I'm saying. It was actually a brilliant idea. Completely brilliant. Stunning idea. Now, we have pawn takes h4, right? Because black continues in terms of tunnel vision, right? Like black sees this and takes it. I can't hate on this move. And now rook takes h4, which the computer hates because there is a very strong move here by black. I don't hate the move that was played in the game, although it actually it's a hilariously bad move. But here, how black has to think about this is maximum danger. So you always have to be thinking, how can you put, there's no checks, there's no real captures that make sense. But this move is maximum danger on the queen. And it actually just so happens to win a lot of material because the rook is also attacked by the queen, so you would have to lose your queen. That's the best thing that white can do. Instead of that, black plays e5 and loses the game on the spot. But you say, what? How? I don't understand. e5 is a very logical move because it attacks the queen. You just said maximum danger. Yes. But white here has a response that's stronger than moving the queen. In chess, when you see a threat, right, you see this, your brain is immediately like, move the queen. Because you're a human. You're like, my queen's hanging, I have to move it. No, you have to play the best move on board. You don't have to always respond to your opponent. And in this position, you have a capture that also is a check. Not only that, that move wins. Why does it win? Because after bishop d5, they have to block. Because if they don't, you have mate in 2. Try to pause here and try and find it. It's incredible. It's a very common idea. When the king is cut off and unable to retreat back to its square and it's stuck in the corner, you don't play some move like this. Rook takes h7. Look at this incredible shot. King h7 and now queen h5. And the king is cut off completely. It cannot escape to the light squares. So the move e5 is like genius for 400 level, but also loses at the same time. And this is what you have to see bishop takes d5 check. But instead you see queen h5 because you're like, oh, my queen's hanging, so I have to move my queen. Not always. You got to look at the checklist. You got to look, can I check my opponent? Is there anything more forcing than having to respond? And black plays the move rook f5. So black loses the game again because black completely misses that h7 is under attack. And there's also bishop takes d5 still. So white plays bishop takes d5, finding it this time. And now here's something really ridiculous happens. So when white played the move queen h5 and just played rook h4, obviously white saw this, right? That's clearly the idea. Clearly the idea. And in this position, this is mate, but you don't have that. So you just go here and keep attacking, right? No, you lose your... What? But why? So how does this... Look at how little sense this makes. The queen was hanging, so you moved it. Why was it hanging? Because of the bishop in the corner. You cannot take the rook because of the same piece. In fact, the distance of the bishop to the rook is shorter than it was here. How did white see one and then just completely forget about the other? It's ridiculous. This is why I'm losing my hair. Queen f5, and now white is just down a queen. Now, some people would resign here. Do not resign. Are you nuts? I mean, you can resign if you're tilted. That happens. You get mad, you just decide to resign. 1, 10, 20 games. then chess.com bans you for rating manipulation. That's just true. You can't just deliberately resign all your games. Rook h5 is a nice move. Now here black is a little bit too desperate for my liking, but I don't hate this move. Bishop takes b1. Basically black is like, again, your bishop is a very powerful piece. Like it can just stand here. This knight is a garbage piece. You really should not take a piece that hasn't moved yet if it's like a fair trade. Like if that was a rook, I would get it, but the knight on b1 is worth not much. The bishop is much stronger, but okay, black is up a queen, so black's like, I'm gonna trade. Knight b1 is just beyond a horrible move. I mean, like, what are we doing? Why are we undeveloping? We're down a queen. We're fighting against the dragon in Game of Thrones, and you're undeveloping your pieces. I mean, it's... So, knight b1 is a terrible move. Now, of course, black should begin ripping open everything, getting the queen out, getting this, and still defending the king. Make no mistake, you gotta defend the king. It's never too late to lose all your pieces. Black plays knight e7, which attacks the bishop, but allows the bishop in. Now, in and of itself, that's not the best move by white, but I don't hate it. The point is that now black will very easily get this. But here black does something like black just got too hype in this game. Black got so hyped that they were granted this queen that they proceeded to play this move, giving back all of the advantage to white, all of it. I mean, just move the damn rook. This is not hard. The pieces cannot be any closer together. Physically, they cannot. There's no more distance. This just gives away the full rook. Why? Now white is better again. Now, with black here, you should be aggressive. The only reason this doesn't work is because there's this move, and somehow the white position totally holds together. And then if queen f4 trying to get down to c1, you block everything in time, and if this happens, you can play like rook d1. So the way you need to play against the queen is everything needs to guard everything else. Notice how every piece is protected, then the queen will not be able to bully you. Okay? So queen to d8 played in this game, the bishop goes to d5, and now white, after taking a pawn and a rook, hangs the bishop for free, and black takes it. I mean, just ridiculous, right? You just had a free square, and you have this, you have 3 squares that are safe, 2 that are not, 60% chance you get it right, you just hang the bishop in one move. Okay, terrific. Now, can we get the other pieces in the game? Okay, rook h7, I get it. We're going rook h8 check, doesn't really matter, that's it. Now it's devastation mode. You cannot stop an angry queen. You can give a check, you can play knight d2, black is going to chop down the forest, play queen g2, like it's going to be real bad. Black is not a ecological conservationist. Black is going to chop down the forest. Queen takes g2, and white here needs to play a move that protects the king. Now, if you're thinking about long castles, you're thinking right. You got to guard the king here. And white does play a move here that protects the king. I have to say, this is a very intelligent move here played by white. Very sophisticated for the 500 level. You've got a rook on the other edge of the board, the knight, the rook, all scattered, nobody doing anything together. And white protects the king with the move a4, which doesn't protect the king at all. In fact, I don't even know what it does at all. I cannot explain it to you. Even if that pawn goes all the way down, there's a pawn in the way. That's not... a4 is a spectacularly poor move. Now, black, who has a queen, a knight, and a bishop, should naturally be doing things like breaking apart the center, attacking the king, looking for forks. No, black just plays a pawn move. Just no sense of urgency, just like, I'm gonna move a pawn. Now, white also moves a pawn. a5, woo, yeah! If I push my pawn far enough, it's gonna get... Okay, now black takes, good. And now again, you should go bishop b4 here. This is like a no-brainer, pin the knight to the king, queen g1 on the way, and yeah. I mean, life is good. All right. But bishop to g3, which, by the way, is not a horrible move. But why are you losing the bishop? Yes, you opened the king, but at what cost? All right, what did it cost you? Everything. King comes up. Now, folks, if you had the patience to not click off of this video for 14 minutes now, I am about to reward you with one of the most absurd endings to a game I have probably ever seen in my life. We have 30 more moves to go. Buckle up. If you're in a car, by the way, and if you're... Let me know if you do watch my videos while you're in a car. I don't know how you would do that, but maybe like on speaker. Well, if you're in a Tesla, you have a screen. Can you watch YouTube in a Tesla? I don't know. Anyway, so, yeah, now all advantage is gone. Why? Because white can activate the rook. And as I've already discussed, the way you beat a queen is you coordinate your pieces. So you find a way to guard yourself and create like this weird impenetrable fortress where you cannot get broken into. Now white still continues to move the a-pawn because why not? Losing is fun. Knight f4 check here is a devastating move. King has to go here. If it goes here, it's mate in 2. Check here, mate. Goes here, you check, you win the rook. But instead of that, black plays knight c7. So, knight c7 is a... The way I want you to never play moves like knight c7 is at this level and up until about 1400, retreating is going to be the best move 2 out of 10 times max. Almost always, you can make a useful move going forward or staying on the same rank. You can always create threats, you can get in, but there's no need to retreat. This is such a passive move. And white just loses the pawn and allows the knight right back to where it was. So white has the same position now, but no pawn. White just refuses to use this rook. I really don't know what it is. Rook a8 is not a horrible decision, but again, the move knight f4 is winning. You have to give checks here. You have a queen and a knight, and the king is butt naked. You gotta attack. Why are you? Oh my, now it's rook a7. Now white's a-pawn stuff that I was making fun of is genius because that pawn is clearly gonna promote. Folks, this is the 400 and 500 rating area. You think that a-pawn won't queen? That a-pawn is going to queen. King e7. Now, very simple move here at this level. Rook c7, queen c7, a7. That's it. Clear it. This pawn is going. The rook is behind it. Black cannot stop the pawn unless black like physically gets in front of it. But white can just avoid checks. No more checks. You're making a queen. You're winning the game. Instead of that, white plays a retreating move, knight f1, which I've already discussed at length is never going to be a good thing. Queen g2, king to e1. And now you can give checks. And anytime you have a rook and a king far apart with a queen, you want to fork them. So now wherever the king goes, you put the queen right there, and it's going to hit this, this, and this. Does that make sense? Look at that geometrically. Anywhere the king goes on these 3 squares, that is your connecting spot between the king and the rook. Very nice tactical motif for you to keep in mind. Instead of that, black moves the king, and now white finds take, a7, and that's it. The game has to be over because king to b6, and white makes a queen and wins the war. Wait, okay, let me get this straight. Hold on. a4, a5, a6, gets to the pawn, sacrifices the rook, pushes the pawn, and then What? And now queen e4 wins because the same situation, the connecting spot between the king and the rook. And the most tragic thing about this is you stop the pawn. Oh my God, instead of that, king b5. Okay, can we please make the... Oh, I can feel my hair falling out already. Oh my gosh. Okay, please. Now black is gonna move the king. I sound like a woman in labor. Oh my God. King c3, king d3, king a5. No, why would you go there? Why? a8 queen, rook a1 again. That's it. Now you're winning. No. What are you? The last chance. The craziest thing is that now if you do this, it's just a draw. It's just a draw because you're gonna lose the rook. Oh my gosh. Rook a1 check. King to b5. You make the queen, please make the queen. Oh my gosh, please make the queen. What are you doing? What are you? Now that's it. Queen g1 and black is gonna win. Oh, it was fun while it lasted, folks. Oh, a8 again. A8 is winning. No, queen queen. The back rank check. Yes. Oh, it's over. Oh, it's over. I can't believe it. And now the pawn is going to be taken. By the way, for good measure, white also gives away the knight with check, but that's it. Now the queen comes down, gets closer. The only thing you got to be careful about here is a fork. You don't want to, but I mean, just queen f2. So queen links up with the pawn. All right, it doesn't find it. Now queen f2. Nope, doesn't find it. All right, gets closer. And white just loses the knight because such is life. Black doesn't take the knight, but black takes it on the very next move. And, well, it was a fun game while it lasted. And white definitely had a lot of good chances to win. Ultimately, white will go on to lose this game. And that's life. Just kidding. On the very next move, black stalemated.